We went 3-2 yesterday on our premium selections on patreon.com/Brock Page. We're also hitting at 65% for the entire college football season on that website. Link for that site is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/Brock Page. The Flyers take on the Canadiens. 3 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Montreal. The Canadiens are minus 145, total 6.5. We saw a 10-cent move toward Montreal in the early wagering. The Canadiens open $1.35 up to minus 145, total 6.5. 55% of the consensus are leaning toward Philadelphia, 63% shaded toward the over. Right now the Flyers are plus $1.25 on the money line. Montreal plus 170 on the puck line. We have Price for Montreal, Elliott for the Flyers. I'm going to lean Montreal minus $1.45 and the over 6.5 in that game. Next matchup, Predators, Panthers, 7 o'clock Florida. The Panthers are minus 125, total 6.5. 63% are leaning Nashville, 69% shaded toward the over. The Predators are plus 105 for an outright win. Florida's plus 185, laying the goal and a half. Looks like we're going to have Drieger for the Panthers, Saros for the Preds. I like Florida in this spot here at home. Give me the Panthers minus 125 and the over 6.5 in that game. Next matchup, Washington taking on Detroit. 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Detroit. The Caps are minus 220 on the road, total 6.5. 75% are leaning Washington, 64% shaded toward the over. Right now the Red Wings are plus 180 on the money line. Washington plus 110 on the puck line. We have Samsonov for Washington, Bernier for Detroit. I like Washington in this spot here. Give me the Caps minus 1.5 and the over 6.5 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Saturday's NHL action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/Brock Page, where we went 3-2 in our premium selections on that website yesterday. We're also hitting at 65% for the entire college football season. We do daily premium selections on that website, beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And at the end of this program, I'm going to explain to you the difference between what we do here on YouTube and that Patreon page. You can actually check out my current record on Patreon right now for free. It's right on the homepage. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That's patreon.com/Brock Page. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Hurricanes taking on the Lightning, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Tampa Bay. The Lightning are minus 155, total 6.5. We saw a 10-cent move toward Tampa Bay in the early wagering. The Lightning open as the $1.45 favorite. They're now laying $1.55, total 6.5. 55% are leaning Tampa Bay, 63% shaded toward the over. Right now, Carolina's plus $1.35 on the money line. Tampa Bay plus 155 on the puck line. We have McElhaney for Tampa Bay, Reimer for Carolina. I like Carolina in this spot here on the road. I think they'll keep it close. Give me the Hurricanes plus 1.5 and the over 6.5 in that game. Next matchup, Senators taking on the Flames, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Calgary. The Flames are the $2 favorite, totals at 6. We saw a nickel fade of Calgary and movement downward on the total. The Flames open 205 down to minus 200. Total open 6.5 down to 6. 69% are leaning Calgary, 67% shaded toward the over. Right now the Senators are plus $1.80 on the money line. Calgary plus $1.10, laying the goal and a half. We have Riddick for the Flames, Nilsson for the Senators. A lot of changes in Calgary. A lot of folks will think that'll be for the better. I do not. I like Ottawa plus 1.5 and the under 6 goals in that game. Next matchup, Sabres taking on the Maple Leafs. 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Toronto. The Leafs are the hefty $2.50 favorite at home. Totals at 6.5. And we did see a 10-cent move toward Toronto in the early wagering. They opened 240 up to 250. Total 6.5. 61% are leaning Toronto, 66% shaded toward the over. Right now, Buffalo's plus 210 on the money line. Toronto plus $1.10, laying the goal and a half. We have Freddie Anderson for the Maple Leafs, Carter Hutton for the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo's been bad as of late. But I think this is a pretty good value here, catching a goal and a half. Not foreseeing a whole lot of goals in this game. I'm going to lean Buffalo plus 1.5 and the under 6.5 in that game. Next matchup, Blue Jackets taking on the Islanders. 7 o'clock, Long Island. The Islanders are minus 190, totals 5.5. We did see a 10-cent move toward New York in the early betting. The Islanders open $1.80 up to minus 190, totals 5.5. 72% are leaning Islanders, 70% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Blue Jackets are plus 160 on the money line. New York plus $1.50 on the puck line. We have Thomas Greiss for the Islanders, Merzlikins for Columbus. I think Merzlikins is a nice little change, giving Korpisalo a little blow there, I guess. Give me Columbus plus 1.5 and the under 5.5 in that game. Next matchup, Penguins. Blues, 8 o'clock, St. Louis. The Blues are minus $1.20, totals at 6. We saw a 10-cent fade of St. Louis, no movement on the total as of yet. The Blues opened $1.30 down to $1.20, totals at 6. 56% are leaning St. Louis, 70% shaded toward the under. Right now the Pens are catching even money on the money line. St. Louis plus $1.95, laying the goal and a half. We have Jordan Binnington for the Blues, Matt Murray for the Pens. I like St. Louis at home here. Give me the Blues minus 120 and the under 6 goals in that game. Next matchup, Sharks, Coyotes, 8 o'clock, Arizona. The Coyotes are minus $1.25, totals 5.5. We saw a 10-cent move toward Arizona, no movement on this total as of yet. The Coyotes open $1.15 up to minus 125, totals 5.5. 56% are leaning San Jose, 84% shaded toward the over. Right now the Sharks are plus 105 on the money line. Arizona plus $2, laying the goal and a half. We have Ranta for the Coyotes, Dell for the Sharks. I like Arizona all the way at home. Give me the Coyotes minus $1.25 and the under 5.5 in that game. Next matchup, Blackhawks, Avalanche, 9 o'clock, Colorado. The Avalanche are minus 165, total at 6. We saw a nickel move toward Colorado in the early betting. The Avalanche opened $1.60 up to minus 165, totals at 6. 56% are leaning Chicago, 62% shaded toward the over. Right now the Blackhawks are plus 140 on the money line. Colorado plus $1.55, laying the goal and a half. We have Phil Grubauer for the Avalanche, Robbie Lehner for the Blackhawks. I don't think the Blackhawks have any shot in this one. Give me Colorado minus 165 and the under 6 goals in that game. Next matchup, Jets taking on the Kings. 10 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Los Angeles. Good old-fashioned flip of the lines in this one. The Kings are the $1.15 favorite at home, totals at 6. But they did not open up as the favorite. And as a matter of fact, they opened up as the $1.05 dog. We saw a 20-cent move toward the Kings in the early wagering. No movement on the total as of yet. Once again, the Kings open plus 105, now minus 115. Totals at 6. 73% are leaning Winnipeg, 66% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Jets are minus 105 on the money line. The Kings plus 210, laying the goal and a half. We have Campbell for the Kings, Brassard for the Jets. I like the Jets, really good value in my opinion with regard to the price. I like the Jets minus 105 and the under 6 goals in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Where we went 3-2 in our premium selections yesterday on that website. I like Winnipeg minus 105 under 6 goals, Edmonton minus 130 under 6 goals, Colorado minus 165 under 6 goals, Arizona minus $1.25 under 5.5, St. Louis minus 120 under 6 goals, Washington minus 1.5 over 6.5, Ottawa plus 1.5 under 6 goals, Florida minus $1.25 over 6.5. Columbus plus 1.5 under 5.5. Carolina plus 1.5 over 6.5. Buffalo plus 1.5 under 6.5. And last but certainly not least, I like Montreal minus $1.45 and the over 6.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we're hitting at 65% for the entire college football season. Shout out to Marshall Sports, Demetrius Milonis, Chibaku Tensei. Shout out to Ninja Chris. Shout out to Craig Middlestein, who gave me a well-written dissertation on how to properly handicap games. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate the tip. Shout out to Empranos, NBA legend, Ronnie Christie, Shane Carey, the Little Big People, Gambling Junkie, aka Bo Dunn. Shout out to Raymond Gonzalez, Mauricio Granberry, and last but certainly not least, shout out to Mike Wilkerson. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again, we went 3-2 in our premium selections on that website yesterday. We're also hitting at 65% for the entire college football season on that website as well. We do daily premium selections on that site beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Now, a lot of folks will ask me, what's the difference between what you do here on YouTube and your Patreon page? And that's a great question. What we do is this. Right here on YouTube, we handicap every single game on the board, both the side and the total. And of course, if you were to bet your hard-earned money that way on every single game, side and total, you're guaranteed to lose. You're going to lose in the long run, definitely, and you might end up losing in the short run as well. The math is always against you. The books are just too sharp. They're too smart. So what we do on Patreon is we really narrow it down and focus in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage selections, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current record on Patreon is a lot better than it is on YouTube. You can check out that record right now for free. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for tuning in right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you on patreon.com/BrockPage.